I didn't drink my water. Oh, I'm very stiff now. I'm not being filmed, I hope.
What do you think?
I don't know. Well, I think...
How many pieces are there?
There
4?
are 5 pieces.
We'll cook them because...
I think I can cook them because we can eat them.
Yeah, they're going to be eaten cold. I
Yeah.
mean, Molly might fancy them cold tomorrow, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll just have one piece.
So I'll just cook them all and I'll just serve out.
Yeah, depending on how
Yes.
big they are.
And, well, when they're cooked, you can have a look at them, okay?
Well, when the
Yeah.
Anyway, what was I saying?
About TV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in those 1936, this was, or 1937, it was the very, very beginning of television. And my father said, in that saloon bar, the lights were all put out. It was pitch dark. You had to almost feel your way over to the bar. And shh.
And was this live, this broadcast?
Yeah.
It was, oh.
We were the first, before the Americans, we were the first country to have public thing. It was on only 2 hours a day in the evening. And he hated, my father said, well, so what, you know, a vague, snowy picture, 6 inches, you know, all looking at this thing,
So,
fascinated by
so
it.
we had a television service in the 1930s.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. I read that it stopped because of the war
Right,
and then
right.
picked up again.
Mm.
So they really should have had it in the 40s as well.
Yeah.
So TV in the 50s should have been better if it had been allowed in the 40s, because it would have progressed in the 40s
Absolutely.
and been better. They probably would have had colour throughout
Yeah,
the...
but the technique
Yes.
advanced during the war because of radar and all sorts
Oh,
of
yeah, of course, yeah. So actually it probably was as good.
After the war, it came back, and you had screens about that so big, you know, about that big, and that was much better. Then everybody was trying to get them.
So when did you get your first TV?
I don't know. In the 50s. It wasn't in the 40s. It was in the
No.
50s, I think.
Yeah.
Early 50s, I would think. It was a great big, stood up that high. It was a great big console, right down to the floor, with an enormous speaker in the lower part, and then the screen was about, I suppose it was about that big, and it was a Decca, and it was all in polished walnut, I don't know, walnut or something, and then the great moment arrived. ITV came about 1957. And we had a box on the top with 2 knobs. I don't know what they did. Where you could change the channels, because before that you only had BBC One, I think. BBC One, yes. And then they got BBC Two, so you had 5 channels or something. You turned this knob, and it was a great crude mechanical thing, because there were no transistors or anything in those days, and it had little valves inside. And I know that something happened to the switches, and I decided to mend it. I took the back off this thing. I didn't know about a capacitor. And boy, did I get a whack from that thing. There was no warning on it. And I was prodding the switch with a screwdriver, which got stuck, you see, and I was trying to unstick it, and I happened to touch the capacitor. You get about 1,000 volts or something from that. I was almost dizzy with the shock, and I couldn't understand it because I'd taken the plug out. I didn't realise that it stored the electricity.
Oh yeah, I heard about that or read about it. Yeah, they people that came around to fix the TV wouldn't touch it unless it had been off for a weekend or something. You know, because for the power to die off. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know in those days.
No, they should have put some warning on that.
Well, the television had a warning on it, but I didn't know this little box had a capacitor in it, you see.
And what was TV like?
Black and white. It used to have plays Wednesday. They had a Wednesday play and a Saturday play. The Wednesday one was the best. It was like repertory, really. Stage. The technique, a stationary camera with people moving around. I mean, they could move the camera like that, but they didn't home in and all that like they do now. Very different. And all were stage actors. They were not, they had to learn the technique. It wasn't until 1959 when Ned Sherrin, who was a director, producer, he came up with a program called This Week, which was news round Britain. And it was miles ahead of anything else. And another program he had was Z Cars, about police, a fiction thing, about traffic, not traffic police, police in cars, you know, police cars. And they would go in their Ford Zephyr and be called on this radio in the car. Had two-way radio, over to you, Roger and out, all that, you know, that sort of thing. But it was out in the open. It was real-time television as well. You know, the This Week was real-time sometimes. They used to have live. And then this was, a lot of it was acted in, I think in the, it wasn't canned. You have live.
Yeah.
Some of them. Then of course it got more and more sophisticated during the 60s, and then you had colour in the 70s. Terrible, the colour.
I think actually America had colour throughout the 60s. It's just most people didn't have colour TVs. They couldn't afford it. They had. I think they actually started broadcast. They had colour in the 50s TV.
Well, it might have been just possible, but I remember when I first saw it was in the early.
We'll be with you in a moment, Mom. Marie?
Yes.
Look.
Haha. My elephant.
centre of gravity. That's yours.
Thank you.
When we've had our supper, I'm going to go and tidy up the kitchen.
Lovely. Oh, you put a purr in, did you?
Yes, I did.
Oh.
I think we should start on these now. Cod liver oil.
Mm.
Hey.
That looks the wrong one. Oh.
Oh, no, green horrors.
Uh-huh.
3rd degree.
They're for women.
Gosh, those bananas are sweet.
Yeah, they're lovely. And I thought it was time we ate the pear.
Yeah, I ate one today.
Did you? Oh.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, it was getting a bit soft,
Mm.
so I think it was absolutely the optimum bliss.
Mm.
Very nice.
Fruit salad.
And what's wrong with that yogurt?
No, it's lovely yogurt.
Absolutely nothing.
It really is lovely.
Now that instead of cream, it's a big saving on your cholesterol.
I know. Where did that yogurt come from?
I don't know which one it is. It's Greek style anyway.
Yes.
I think it's clock, but I'm not sure.
Mm.
Was it a new one that you opened?
Mm.
Well, it probably was the got. I bought it yesterday.
Mm.
3.
These here are the black framed pre-Victorian miniatures that I inherited from my grandmother, and they are shown on the front cover of period living and traditional homes, which is a very expensive home decorating magazine. And I was really delighted when I saw that, because I feel now that once we've cleared everything, I'll give them a good clean and hang them up prominently. They have been remarked on many times by people wanting them. You won't get me in the pictures today, because I might put a bit of makeup on after I've had my afternoon siesta, because I feel better in the evening and I look a bit better. It's very heavy, that. I've been somewhere else, haven't I? We better get back to the floor and I'll have to think about it. And as long as it's there.
You dropped something.
Hey.
What's this?
Oh, that's fallen off my handbag. That's
You're terrible, aren't you?
sorry. Oh, no, because I went to the Heart Foundation. And should I have gone back there?
I don't know, it's up to you.
No, I mean, I think I owe them money. I have to think about it. I know that I bought something from there.
You're so drunk, you drop everything.
Well, that's what I said to the doctor. He thought it was hilarious.
Yes.
I said, well, it may be hilarious for you, but it's not for me. Mind you, these shoes are very uncomfortable. They also are part of the trouble. No, the top one. No, the one that I put my foot on. No, that. Oh no. Oh no, it's this. No.
Bending down.
Well, I can't bend down at all, I'm afraid.
That's what the little boy said to the headmaster. I
Yeah.
don't like bending down. Go on. Look, Mary. Very nice coat. Yeah?
Well, why don't you try it
Oh
on?
no! I've got two. I can't buy any more.
Do you want me to come back to the car in a few minutes?
No. I want to go up to the town hall and I want you to go and get your form. So if you come with me to the town hall, it's only just round the corner now. It only takes 2 minutes.
I haven't finished in here yet.
Well, you want to stay here, I'll come back then.
Well, yes, because then after that I've got to go
Okay,
and look
I'll
for
just
this
go and
other.
deal with this as quickly as I can.
All right, yes.
And then I'll come back.
All right. I think actually we have had those before. I don't quite know what that is. What must be a did for?
Fantastic. I believe it bad, thanks. Brilliant. Thank you very much, you gentlemen. Thanks a lot.
Hangs down from the ceiling, he's got a little drop of it on it, whatever they call it. But it's just as Dan packed
That's a
it,
nice
the
shade
little
there.
bits and pieces. Anyway, I hope
All
it's all
silk.
complete anyway. I didn't go through it because I don't know what was in it. But I put some other bits in it as well. There's a whacking big mug in there.
Oh no, of course. Can you bend down and pick that up for me? I'm sorry, Molly.
Good tea.
Well, you can take it over there. And I'll be there in a second.
Right size for me, that is. I'm
Yes.
the biggest mug around here.
Yes, that'll keep you busy. You're alright for the rest of the day? Do you want to make you drink this one then? I'll help you. Yes, okay. I'll hold on for you. Because I won't be down again today because I'm going to get on with some other jobs, see?
Right on round it.
Yes.
Okay, later.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, that's okay.
Yeah, carry on.
No, I was just filming my mum.
Oh, you've got to photograph your mum. That's very
Yes.
important.
Never stop photographing me, it's awful.
Yes. These mums are very important.
Oh yes, I agree. I agree.
I used to enjoy mum's company.
Oh,
I
yes.
lost mum 16 years ago.
Oh,
And
sorry.
when you lose your mum, it's never the same afterwards.
No, I can
Your mums
imagine.
are your precious thing.
Oh
They're
yes,
beyond price.
I agree.
Yes.
I totally agree.
Yes. Yes. I know. They're beyond price, mums are. Yes. So look after her.
Yeah,
I will.
I know, you must look after
Yes.
me.
And
Yes.
it's funny how the boys know how to look after their mums.
I haven't got a daughter, so I've got to rely on myself.
Yes, but the trouble is mothers know their daughters too well, so that's the reason why.
I know, yes,
Yes.
you're right.
Yes,
No.
the sons, they seem to get on better.
I know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
they
quite
always
true,
say
Yes.
that, don't they? Yes.
Yes,
Yes, it's true.
yes, yes. It's just marvellous in those days. We used to have mum and 9 cats running around the house. And
Oh, how lovely.
it was a wonderful time.
Yeah, I
Yes.
can imagine. Yes.
Happy days.
I know, I'd like. We've just moved here
Yes.
to live, and he's helping us. But
Yes.
I want him to stay here forever, of course.
I think so. I think that's a good idea.
I think
Yes.
so.
Yes, if you keep on like
I
that,
think
you might,
yes,
it might
I
get
will.
round. Have
Yeah.
you got to live a long way away then?
I live in Oxfordshire, so it's
Oh, it's
quite
nice.
quite
Yes.
far. Well, 2 hours. About
Yes,
2 hours.
because
by
Oh,
car.
sorry.
One thing,
can I have a look at
Oxfordshire
those
from
staff
Leominster
earrings?
doesn't take long to get there,
Oh,
see?
so
No, no.
Because I
no.
remember going through Oxfordshire to get to Didcot,
Oh
to the
yes.
steam railway, see?
Oh yeah.
That was the last time I went.
Yeah. Have you heard of Whitney?
Yes.
Yeah, I live in
Yes.
Whitney, so yes.
And then I went to a place called Reading to
Oh,
get
yes.
on the train to go to Gatwick Airport. See,
Oh,
you know,
yes,
from there.
yeah.
Of course, it doesn't take long because once you get on the Gatwick Airport, you're in Gibraltar before you know it. See, and then on
Yes.
into Spain.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
Because it's a very good central position, Oxford is.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
And of course, if you wanted to just pop to London for the day, it's no problem at all, because Paddington is only just up the road, as they
Yeah.
say.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and the underground system's so good. If
Yeah.
you want to get to the Barbican Theatre or anything like that, or Liverpool Street Station, it's just on the outer line.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes. I think there's a very cheap bus that goes a kind of city link from
Yes.
Oxford to
Yes.
London. So that's because it's a key city, two key
Because
cities.
I remember Oxford Station, because I've been there in the car as well, because there's a great big car park in front of it.
Oh yes, that's right. Yeah.
Yes, but I remember at the time.
Yes.
Yes, had some good times in Oxford.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. One thing you can get down here in reasonably good time from Oxford, that's one good thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Oh, yeah.
Because the train
Yeah.
system is very good.
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. So you live here in
Yes,
Leominster?
I was born here 72 years ago.
Oh.
Yes, so it's a long time.
Yeah.
I lost mum 16 years ago with cancer.
Oh, terribly sad.
That
Yeah.
was very difficult.
Yeah. I can imagine it.
I looked after her for the last year of her life.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
very difficult.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
the cushion, Molly.
Yes.
Oh.
For the cushion.
Yes. There we go.
I'm sorry.
Anyway,
Yes. Okay. Well, after the what? After 1 year? Yes. I see, otherwise it goes up. I see, so, yeah, that'll be in the information you're sending me, will it? Yeah, because my memory's not all that wonderful now. So 11 months is a long time, yes. Go on. Hmm. I don't understand that. If I make any call where? Yes. Yes. Is it? Okay. Hmm. Okay. Okay. Right. Right. Yes. I thought it was cheaper than that if it's landline to landline. I mean, does that not make it better to use the mobile? But there you are, vanity, thy name is mould. Vanity, vanity.
This is a party that was given for New Year's Eve, the beginning of 1966. I was on my way to my new posting in Ghana. This was the captain's table, and I was spend hours getting myself all tarted up so I could be invited to the captain's table, and I was very happy. Except for those two people. They were lovely. They hadn't been married very long, but they started me smoking, and they wouldn't give up until I started smoking, and I was hooked. But anyway, that was a journey out to Ghana. I loved being on the boat, and I wondered how on earth I was going to cope with ordinary life again when the boat finally docked in Tema Harbour. later on in 1966, Tamar Harbour became a very popular, in fact it was top of the hit parade, a song. And I heard everybody singing Tamar Harbour, and I remember being there, and it was terribly strange. Now, these are the pictures of my boyfriend at the time, Hamish Lumsden. We had 2 very happy years together. This is a picture of him taken. He was very bad-tempered because he'd just given up smoking. We'd had an argument about it. Anyway, that is all history now. But these 2, Candida and I, were bridesmaids at their wedding. They were also all 4 of us here worked for the embassy. Hamish was the second secretary, and Jeff, unfortunately, this boy here, he died when he was only 42. I heard that from a Irish girlfriend of mine. I was very, very sad when I heard that. Anyway, as I say, that's all history. And these are the same pictures of him when we were both in a happy frame of mind. A loving moment. And now, where on earth was I there? Oh yes, I remember. I went down, I was working in Uganda, then I went down to stay with my sister. I was working in Dar es Salaam, and these people were all from the French embassy. This man in the middle was the French first secretary. He was very amusing, and I thought it was a nice picture of me. All the other girls were French, but they were lovely. Candida had got me a French boyfriend for my stay called Jacques, who eventually tracked me down when I'd gone back to England and arrived at my house in Cradwell Avenue. I was absolutely horrified to see him. Anyway, that is yet another story. Now this is when I went to my next posting. This was taken at the, I have to think because soon I won't be able to remember all this. Stop that noise. This is me with my great friend Jane Brunston. Me drinking beer, which was my favourite drink. Probably it also helped because of the intense heat. There is a story about Jane here wearing a lovely blue lace bathing costume that she bought in a shop, and it was in the window marked 20 Ugandan shillings. So she went in immediately and bought it, and she looked wonderful in it. But when she went into the shop the next time, they said they'd made a mistake, and in fact it should have been 200 shillings. And they demanded the extra, but they are apparently, if a shop advertises any goods in its window for a certain price, they are not allowed to change or charge the customer more. That's English and foreign law. So she got away with a lovely, very expensive blue lace bathing costume for 20 Ugandan shillings, which was about. They came out to spend 3 weeks with me. Because she'd been very ill, having a hysterectomy, and she'd been very ill afterwards. And she loved Uganda so much that she ended up by staying with me for over 6 months. And after she left me, she went down to Dar es Salaam and stayed with my sister, Candida. And when she got back to England, she got the surprise of her life, because Daddy had painted the bedroom bright red and had bought an enormous bright red satin bedspread, and he had bought himself some bright red satin pyjamas and a matching dressing gown, and this was all to ensnare her back when she got home. She thought it was terribly funny. Oh, well, this is a picture of me that I think is absolutely hideous. When I worked for a man called Dorian Williams, this was at his house. But you can see in the background it was called Pendley Manor, and he was a television presenter, and he was on television every week. He used to do the commentaries and all the presentations for a thing called the Horse of the Year show, which still goes on every year now in London. And at the time he was very popular, and I was his secretary, and I enjoyed the work there because it was lovely surroundings, working in a manor house like that, and beautiful grounds. And these girls were all au pairs. They were like sort of maids, and they were very friendly. They were all Scandinavian girls, but I always thought it was a horrible picture of me, so I set about changing what I looked like. Oh, this is a picture of me and my parents in our own home in Aylesbury, Craigrowell Avenue, when my grandmother's my grandmother's brother, wife, a Maori woman who you can see in the photograph, came to lunch with us and brought her daughter, who was sitting on the floor wearing a red cardigan. And she looks more like an Italian girl or a Spanish girl, but she is in fact half Maori, because my grandmother's brother, like it seems in so many members of my family and my husband's family, have gone out to either New Zealand or Australia, and I'll never know what the draw is. But anyway, my little, whatever it is, fifth cousin or something, that little baby, is quite brown. This is the same picture. I think it's a nice picture of me. It was the fashion beehive hairstyle, and I think that I look pretty in it. My mother hated that picture because you could see her knickers, as you can see, but we all laughed about it. She said, "I'm not having that picture, you can see my knickers." And Daddy said, "Well, you ought to keep your legs crossed."
Who are they?
That is that little thing, girl there. She is the daughter, the half Maori daughter of my grandmother's brother's Maori wife, and she came back to England and she married an Englishman, and he was quite well off. He had a lovely house just on the edge of Kew Gardens. We went over to lunch with them, and afterwards we walked about in Kew Gardens. It was really lovely, and these two little babies were really very sweet. I thought they were very, very well behaved.
So what side of the family?
Granny, that's Granny, that's the one who, you know, the posh one, the one with all the money. Her brother, Roland, went out, like so many members of my family, to New Zealand and married a Maori woman, so she is Mrs. Loughlin. I don't...
Battery.
No, they don't, because it's a sealed unit,
Yeah.
so you can't take the battery out of it.
What's the battery life likely to be?
It's
2 or 3
likely to
years?
be several years. Yeah.
Several
If
years.
it's looked after properly,
Yeah.
it'll last several years.
Okay, well, I'll be in and out of the kitchen.
That's no
today.
problem.
What's the password?
Would you like a drink? Anything?
I'd love a cup of tea, please.
Tea?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's got some t-shirts.
Is that a real stamp, do you suppose?
No.
Well, it's a bit
Print.
more. It's a bit more modern, isn't it? Than it's got an aeroplane.
Captain Smith probably had something rather similar to that. Something wrong with those funnels, though, isn't there?
Yeah, but it's just a period.
More like the Queen Mary, that. The funnels, I mean.
Mm. No, this is a period, a picture they've used.
Mm. It's an American job, is it? Adapter for charging, is this yours?
Yeah, that's my.
Cathedral, that. Gee, I wouldn't mind seeing that again.
You are seeing it again.
Eh?
Oh, you mean the real thing?
The real thing, yeah.
Oh.
It is incredible, the sculptures and so on. How lovely. There are a lot more, Molly. What's that? It's me on a rock.
Oh yeah, I noticed.
Go away.
Who's that?
He's a friend of mine. He's on a Lambretta.
Childhood friend or teenage friend or?
What? No, he's a colleague. That's me. I don't know where that was though.
Well, a colleague from Gib.
No, before Gibb. From the Ministry of Works.
When I was a civil servant.
No, I'm off.
Where are you going now? Oh,
Well, you're going to do the spaghetti, are you?
yes, Sam.
It's just a spaghetti and it's
Oh.
that double of that stuff.
Oh, Dad, where was this?
Where? I don't know where it was, Molly.
No, here, this picture of you.
Me? I don't know.
This one.
I just don't remember. That one, that's Versailles, that's in Paris. I was about 17 then, just after the war. I used to go in there for a drink in the evening. There was a very nice lady there who was very kind to us. You see the old fishing boats? It's like a photograph, that really, isn't it? It's not bad, actually.
No, it's good.
And that's Gangron. I remember that. I wanted to develop painting when I got home, never got round to it. It was the same holiday. That's Pont-Aven. It was a fête des fleurs, they called it. It was a very quick, rough sketch. That was my impressionistic drawing. I was very impressed with, what's his name? Constable. Constable's pencil drawings, and I tried to imitate him there with his pencil drawing, but not very successfully, I must say. He used to draw in great detail, well, in his impressionist drawings like that. And there's my brother. That's that little, that's Merlin. That's the little cafe that I pointed out to you. That's where we used to go for a drink. That's my brother there. And that fellow was talking to me, gabbling away in French. And those two, there was a woman there, I think it was his wife, and that, or no, I think she must have been, he wouldn't have had a wife. He looks like something out of a circus. He was a real peasant type, you know. I wonder what my brother was drinking, probably a Pernod. Hey ho, happy days. I was young then, maybe about 20, 21, something like that. Oh. I didn't do that, it's my brother. That's mine. That's not. That's not mine.
Whose is it?
My brother.
Oh, was he good? Was he good also at art?
Not very, no.
Not as good as you.
No. I don't know, he's a bit like you there. He had talent, but he never developed it. There's one missing. Must have done it in here. Oh yes, there it is. Oh, yes, there are more in here, aren't there? You like? No. That one was never finished. Leominster. Just a typical street scene. Utrillo type of thing, that. All those things are in my mind. And that was Compare. Look, it's nice. I think it's quite good. No?
Yes, it's quite rough.
Those kids will be in their approaching 70, probably in their 70s now. It was a sort of pond thing there, and the kids were drawn to it. There's an old granny with a child in a what's it? Ah. Not bad. And that's it. That's not me. That must be Toady. That's quite good, actually. Is that you or Toady?
Toady, probably.
Toady was a great one for trees. That's why I thought immediately of Toady on that. He loved trees. Always in his pictures, he always had trees. I'd never seen that before. I didn't know he'd pinched my book. Cheeky little devil. Oh well, it's all past, long history. I used to struggle on. You could have been right. They spoiled you when they started to teach you art. I'm glad I never saw a palm tree like that. Would frighten the living daylights out of me if I'd seen that. It's grotesque. I suppose that was in Ingeno, was it? Here you are then.
What about the other one?
What other one? This one. We've looked at that, haven't we? Nothing in there.
Yes, there is. From on the other side, there's pictures.
Here you go. I've got a feeling there were a lot more, but perhaps I'm wrong. Must be.
What about that?
Oh, you tore it out?
No, it's in there.
That's Gangon. That was that was nice.
Well, there's more pictures if you want to see them.
Yeah, I've seen them. That one was it was very nice Gangon.
And this one?
That I told you that was the one that was inspired by Constable's style of.
Have you looked at this
He
one?
was very heavy with a pencil. Yes,
I thought there was. Oh, yeah.
You weren't listening to me. I was giving you a commentary, but you weren't interested, sir.
Cobwebs.
Yeah.
There.
No, I don't look at cobwebs.
So there were 3 friends of your grandfather that got killed.
No, my father, not my grandfather.
Oh yes, yeah, my grandfather.
Yours.
Thought there were only 2. Thought there were only 2.
Murray was the one that my father refers to in his notes who was killed in the war. Do you remember?
But
That's
you
why
said there were 3 that got killed now.
Well, Smithers died. My father lived. He's the only one who survived the war.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Otherwise, we would not be here, sitting here, talking about it. You get the meaning. By no means hot enough.
Oh, well, never mind. Seem to have far too many table napkins. The spoon.
No, Murray went to the war with my father, and he was hit by a shell or killed. Smithers was not fit. He tried to join up, he's not fit, so he went into the civil service and was sent out to Ceylon, where he died of TB. Got it? Oh, difficult. There were 3 young men, they were friends. But it was all right for my father, because at the end of the war he got married, and of course it wasn't the same. That life had gone then. It was over. So he moved on to a new chapter. Ever hear anything of Barry these days? Went to Germany, didn't you? Came a crowd. Battery.
No, they don't, because it's a sealed unit.
Yeah.
So you can't take the battery out of it.
What's the battery life likely to be?
It's
2 or 3
likely to
years?
be several years, yeah.
Several years.
If it's looked after properly,
Yeah.
it'll last several years.
Okay, well, I'll be in and out of the kitchen.
That's no
today.
problem.
What's the password?
Would you like a drink? Anything?
I'd love a cup of tea, please.
Tea?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
In the Pulse nightclub. Everyone started running everywhere. I got trampled over, and I shattered and broke my bones on my left leg. So by this time, I couldn't walk at all. All I could do was lay down there while everyone was running on top of me, trying to get to where they had to be. And all I could hear was the shotguns, one after another, and people screaming, people yelling for help. He's shooting everyone that's already dead on the floor, making sure they're dead. I was able to peek over, and I can just see him shooting at everyone. And I can hear the shotguns closer, and I look over and he shoots the girl next to me. And I'm just there laying down, I'm thinking, I'm next, I'm dead. So I don't know how, but by the glory of God, he shoots towards my head, but it hits my hand. And then he shoots me again, and it hits the side of my hip. I had no reaction. I was prepared to just stay there, laying down, so he won't know that I'm alive.
The hospital, 2 blocks away from the nightclub, had recently gone through a mass shooting incident rehearsal. Now, it was reality.
We're used to seeing gunshot wounds, we're used to seeing a multitude of injuries. Our B-52 bombers are hitting ISIL with precision strikes. Targets are being identified and hit even more quickly. So far, 13,000.